College football imperialism has made its way to the FCS, and we're going to see who's the last team standing in NCAA Football 09. Unfortunately, not every FCS team was in the game, but I did add the Dakota schools along with the rest of the Big Sky Conference that was missing. If you don't know how imperialism works, we're going to start by spinning this wheel of 83 teams, and then we're going to spin this arrow to see where they're going to be attacking. That arrow has Southern University heading out west, where they're going to face McNeese State, and the winner is going to take all of the losers' land. And we're going to be doing this until there's only one team left remaining. Right now it's a 6-point game, and McNeese State has a chance to go downfield and win it. That should have been picked off. Instead, they get third down. Their quarterback is under some pressure, and he missed his man downfield. So it all comes down to this. The Jaguars just need one more stop. The Cowboys quarterback is going to launch this one downfield. He's going for it all, and it's going to be way out of bounds. The Southern Jaguars are going to win. That's going to get us down to 82 teams left remaining. Yeah, we've got a long way to go. And while it's still early on, go ahead and comment down below who you think is going to be the last team standing. And sorry if you're a McNeese State fan, but your team has already been eliminated. Next up, we're going to be traveling to California. We have our first Big Sky team of the day, and one of the only teams that I went out of my way to create for this imperialism, and they're going to be keeping it inside of the conference as they attack Northern Arizona. The Lumberjacks play in one of the few domes we're going to be seeing today, and they've done a fantastic job defending their territory today as they have totally outgained the Mustangs. Their defense only gave up 3 points while their offense put up 5 touchdowns, and that interception is officially going to be the nail in the coffin. Cal Poly even came into that game as a higher overall. I was not expecting the Lumberjacks to blow them out, but the Lumberjacks held their ground, and now they already have the most territory on the map. Next up, we're going to be headed out east to Delaware, and they're actually moving up to the FBS level this next season. As you can see up here in the Northeast, it is just a mess with so many teams, but Delaware is going to be helping us start to clear it out as they're going to take on Princeton. We've got our first snow game of the video, and the Tigers have a chance to go downfield and tie this game up. And if they're feeling good, they could even go for the win, but Delaware gets into the backfield, taking down the quarterback. That gives them 3rd and 10 with a running clock. Their quarterback is going to fire that one and miss his man badly. That sets up 4th and 10. They are too far away for field goal range. The quarterback is going to evade the sack. His pass is going to be knocked away, and the fighting Blue Hens stand strong. I thought we might get our first overtime game of the video, but instead we have our first Ivy League team going down. I do hope we get a lot of snow games in this one. It just makes for beautiful football weather. Next up, I think that's going to land on North Dakota. No, that's going to be NDSU. Of course, they are one of the most dominant teams in FCS history, and even though the wheel didn't land on the Fightin' Hawks, we're still going to see them in this in-state rivalry. North Dakota would be doing everybody a favor if they took down the Bison immediately, and to my surprise, they actually have a chance to do so as they're leading by 2 possessions here late in the 4th. Under a minute to go, and the Bison are down by 10, and they're going down. I don't think anybody thought NDSU would go one and done. They were probably one of the favorites to win it all. But instead, their quarterback is throwing dangerous passes, and it's 4th down, and the receivers are dropping stuff. I don't know what was wrong with the Bison today, but we're not going to be hearing from them again, as their in-state rival just took them down. We're only a few games in, and we've already seen that anything can happen in imperialism. But we're just getting started. There are still 79 teams left remaining, and the next one up is going to be UC Davis. That's going to take us back to the state of California already, and that arrow is going to point them up to Portland State. The Vikings were up 20-0 at one point in the 3rd quarter, but UC Davis is trying to come back here, and they almost caught it off the tip. Now they face 3rd and 5 as they try to put together a game-tying drive. Their quarterback's going to step into this one. That's going to be a 1st down. 25 seconds left to go 49 yards down the field. That's another nice completion to move the sticks, and UC Davis is down to just 1 timeout. Their quarterback tries to evade the pressure, but he's going to be taken down, and they're not going to use their final timeout. The clock is running, and then they do it 4 seconds. That means they have just 1 Hail Mary to try to tie the game. He's going to step up into the pocket, gets the pass off, caught for a 1st down, but there are zeros on the clock. That's going to do it for this one. And that means the state of California only has 1 team left remaining. We've gotten a lot of action out west, but I want to clear out some of those really compact teams in the east, and I think we might just get one of those there with Towson. And now we just have to see which direction the Tigers will be attacking. That arrow is going to take them to the southeast, meaning they're going to be playing an in-state team in Morgan State. This is an in-state rivalry, and the Bears look like the underdogs in this one. And unfortunately for Morgan, they could not beat the underdog allegations as they are down 22-7 in the final minute of this one, and they are not going to get close to converting that 4th down. That's going to clear up a little bit of space out east, and that's going to take us back to the wheel where we're going to see the next next team attacking, it's going to be Furman. That means we're staying out east and going a little bit south, and we've got another in-state game here between Furman and South Carolina State. These teams look pretty evenly matched, although Furman does have the slightly higher overall, and it showed today as the Paladins currently have a 22-point lead in the fourth. The Bulldogs are playing for some pride right now, trying to get into the end zone one more time, but really, even if they do, it's not going to matter. Their quarterback is going to go with the play fake here. He's going to take off and run, but he gets put down. The Paladins defense has been playing great today, and South Carolina State can't really do much. They're going to come up short on third down. And you know what? Just for fun, let's see what happens on fourth down. That was a terrible throw. So South Carolina State has been eliminated from Imperialism. That's a couple games in a row now that haven't really been close. I'd like to see some more competition going on here, and maybe that's what Delaware is going to give us. This is already the second time that the Fightin' Blue Hens have been selected. That means they're going to be taking on another Ivy League school in Columbia. They already took down Princeton, and they're favorites to beat the Lions. And they did more than just win. This is the biggest blowout that we have seen yet, and they are just going to be adding salt to the wound here as the running back's going to take that one to the house and put them over 50. The fans have had just about enough, and they are out of here. And Columbia is also out of here as the Fightin' Blue Hens show everyone why they're about to move up to the FBS level in real life. Here's an updated look at the map with 75 teams left remaining. And Delaware might be emerging as an early favorite to win the whole thing. Next up, we're going to be going to Southeastern, back to the state of Louisiana, which has a lot of FCS schools. Nicholls State is another FCS school there, and we're going to have a rivalry on our hands. The Colonials are the higher overall going into this one, but the Lions are feeling confident. And that confidence has kept this game somewhat close as they're only down by 10 in the fourth. The Lions want to score quickly here if they were going to want to complete this comeback, and ideally that score would be a touchdown. Minute 15 left to go, and they are in the end zone for 6. Attempting the onside kick here, and that has to be one of the worst ones I've ever seen. They're gonna have another go at it though, and again, that was terrible, and they didn't even recover it. That means it's gonna be up to the Lions defense to get a stop on the Colonials. 4 yards on that run there. The Colonials are gonna be running it again, and just shy of that first down marker. Big 3rd and 2 here. Can the Lions defense stand strong? They might be able to. The running back was running the wrong way, but it didn't matter. Nicholls State is going to survive, and they're gonna double the size of their territory with that victory. Slowly but surely, the East is getting a little bit more panned out. It's not going to be as cluttered, and we are barely going to be staying out there. Elon is located in North Carolina, and they're going to be going southwest. That arrow is going to take the Phoenix to North Carolina A&T, where, based on overall, the Aggies are slight favorites. This one was close until the fourth quarter when the Phoenix went on a scoring spree. A&T made a few mistakes, and Elon capitalized on those, which means unless A&T has a big final 30 seconds, Elon's going to be moving on, but that's a big play. They only have 20 seconds left though, and a running clock, which means this play basically needs to be a touchdown. And it was not, so the clock continues to run. They're going with a play fake, going to the end zone, and that is a score. But now they need the 2-point conversion, along with a covering an onside kick, another touchdown, and another 2-point try, but they do get this one. Their slim chances are alive, but they have to recover this onside kick, and they won't. Which means Elon is still the biggest territory in North Carolina. I was asking to get closer matchups, and that's exactly what we've gotten in recent games. We'll see if Dartmouth can continue that trend. So far, Ivy League schools have not fared well today, but maybe the Big Green will change that here as they face Maine. This is another matchup where the home team has the very slight advantage, but really this one could go either way. And it was a little bit of back and forth until the third quarter when the Black Bears really started to take control. Maine did a good job defending their territory while the Big Green have fallen on their face. Ivy League schools are now 0-3 throughout this video. Who's going to step up for them? I would put my money on either Harvard or Yale, although I bet they're very similar overalls to the rest of their conference. Now we're going to be going down south to Alabama State, and the Hornets are headed out west to play Alcorn State. This is a conference battle, and again, a pretty even matchup. And this one has stayed pretty tight throughout the entire game, with the Hornets having a slim lead, but we have Alcorn looking to put together a game-winning drive. The Braves went for it all there, but it fell incomplete. Now a minute left to work with. Quick pass is going to pick up 5. And that's where they use their first timeout. Now 55 seconds left to go. He's going for more than just the 5 yards. That's a big play to get them into scoring range. Marks came down with a great reception there, and they are now 18 yards away from pay dirt. Off of the play fake, this pass is dropped, but that's not the worst thing in the world. It looked like it was only going to be a short gain. This pass is going to be caught, and the tight end is in the end zone. Alcorn is going to be taking the late lead. Great throw here from the Braves quarterback. I thought it was going to be intercepted. I don't know why the defender didn't play the ball. But with this extra point here, they're going to be going up by 1. Alabama State does have 41 seconds to get into field goal range though. Their quarterback is going to have a quick throw tipped into the hands of the receiver and caught, and they're already across midfield, although I don't know how good their kicker is. Plenty of time in the pocket and wide open down the right sideline. That's going to get their quarterback over 300 yards passing. I would have to imagine that their kicker can hit from inside the red zone. And all the Hornets need to do now is set them up for the game winner. 3rd down and 4, and they're actually looking to pass it here. A little bit dangerous, but it's going to be caught, and that is definitely field goal range. This to advance Alabama State in Imperialism. It is up and good. So unless the Braves are going to get a game-winning kick return touchdown here, this one is going to be over. It's not a very deep kick, but the returner is going to be taken down, and Alabama State is victorious. And that means we have an Alabama school now reaching into the state of Mississippi. Even in FCS Imperialism, Bama is doing good. Now we're going to be moving on to, holy cow, Delaware again? No other team has been selected twice, and this is their 3rd time. And they're going to continue their conquest to the north as they're going to be taking on Penn. This is another chance for an Ivy League school to stand their ground. And the Quakers might just do that as they have a 1-point lead with under 30 seconds left to go in the game. Delaware just needs field goal range, but instead they're getting sacked. Penn is representing the Ivy League well here. 23 seconds left to go. Delaware just has 1 timeout, and they're going to get to the quarterback again. The Fightin' Blue Hens refuse to burn their final timeout. There's just 9 seconds left. They need a big play. Their quarterback is able to get this one off. It's going to be caught around midfield. 2 seconds left. You have to use your timeout. That's not quite field goal range, so this play has to end up in the end zone. Looking for a Hail Mary with zeros on the clock, launching that one downfield. It's going to be tipped and caught. Oh my gosh, I don't believe it. Delaware survives 27-22. A Hail Mary on the final play of the game means Delaware survives, and the Ivy League is now 0-4 in Imperialism. What an unbelievable moment right there by the Fightin' Blue Hens. Since that was the final play of the game, it wouldn't let me go back and look at the replay, but that was an unbelievable job there by the receiver with the concentration and the DB there. You got to know to knock that ball down. This is an Ivy League school. You guys are supposed to be smart, but no, you got to bat that ball down. You can't tip it up into the hands of the receiver. And Delaware is the Ivy League's biggest hater right now. But this is why we love Imperialism. For those unbelievable moments at the end of games, Hail Marys, onside kicks. Let's see what Portland State has in store for us. This is going to be the 2nd time we've seen the Vikings play. And well, actually scratch that, because it's going to be the first time we see a team take over an empty piece of land. That's right, there are no FCS schools in the state of Nevada, so that means we're just going to keep chugging along here in this Imperialism as we're going to be headed to Jackson State. The team that Primetime first coached is now up, and this is going to be a battle with Jerry Rice's alma mater. This is also a rivalry between the Tigers and Delta Devils, so if you really want to oversimplify it, you can say this is another duel between Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice. And the Delta Devils are in full control of this game, up by 10 with a minute and a half left to go. The Tigers have kept it pretty close, but right now it looks like Mississippi Valley is the best in the state, as they're looking to officially put an end to this one, keeping the offense on the field on 4th down and 8. They're not going to get the conversion though. That is going to give Jackson State just the smallest sliver of hope. They're going to need a big play though, and scrambling is not going to do anything, especially if they're holding on the play too. That means it's also going to be a running clock, and the offense is not too excited to get this final play off. Mississippi Valley wins, and that's going to make them the only team left in the state. It's really nice that most of the recent matchups have been pretty close, and I think we're going to be going back to the Northeast, and specifically to the smallest state in the U.S. Rhode Island has to share that really small state with Brown as well, but they're looking to expand into Yale. This might be the Ivy League's chance to win though, as they're favorites on paper. And I did say it was going to be either the Bulldogs or Harvard to represent that conference well. And I love this. It's going to be another snow game too. Just like in the Penn game earlier, Yale has a 1-point lead here late in the fourth. But the Rams are looking to get into field goal range and kick a game winner. They have yet to convert on third down today, but that changes here. That should get them in the field goal range at the 25-yard line, but they are looking to throw here. Their quarterback has got time in the pocket, and there's a flag down for holding. That might take them outside of field goal range now as they're at the 35. This pass is going to be caught near the first down markers. If the Rams can pick up this first down, they can bleed out the rest of the clock and kick a game winner. They're going to go with the fullback dive, and he's going to be ruled short, which means if this kick is good, the Bulldogs are going to have a chance to respond. Just under a minute left to go now to represent the Ivy League, and that's a good start to the drive. Yale used their second time out there, but they're already on the outskirts of field goal range, and that would have been it. Instead, the pass was a little off, and it's second down, and that's an even worse throw. The Bulldogs quarterback is selling right now. It's 3rd and 10, and that one's on the money. That should definitely be field goal range now as they're inside of the red zone. And this will probably be the final play before they come out to kick the game winner. Their kicker has already hit from 38 today. This is up and good. And it looks like the Ivy League is finally going to have a winner. All they have to do now is not give up a kick return touchdown with 2 seconds left in the game. Rhode Island with the return immediately taken down, and finally the Ivy League has won a game. It took 5 tries for that to happen, but Yale is the one that does it as I predicted. And that was another exciting matchup that came all the way down to the wire. Let's see what Stephen F. Austin has for us. Finally going to the state of Texas for the first time, and they're not even going to play as they just claim Oklahoma. I'm surprised that they didn't have any FCS schools, but I guess all their good teams are already up in the FBS. Next up, we've got Illinois State. They are one of 4 FCS schools inside of those borders, and Western Illinois is another one of those schools. In this rivalry game, the Leathernecks have a slightly better overall. Western Illinois used that higher overall to their advantage, as the Redbirds have just been terrible today, throwing an interception here to the Leathernecks, and that was very nearly a pick 6. Western's going to be holding on to their 21-point lead, and they might be the best team in the state of Illinois. In the FCS, that is, but there are still 2 other teams here that might have something to say about that. There is a chance that we're not going to hear from them for a while though. We still have over 60 teams left in contention. And with UMass in the FCS, they might actually put up a decent fight. They're keeping it inside of the state here as they're going to face Harvard. I feel like the Crimson are going to struggle though, especially with the Minutemen's C- defense, which may not sound very impressive, but it's better than most other schools on the map. That hasn't really mattered for most of this game though, as the Crimson currently have a 3-point lead on the Minutemen. Their defense just has to stand strong for 50 more seconds, but UMass is getting chunk plays. That's going to make it goal to go with 40 seconds left. Off of the play fake now, that should have been picked. I don't know why you're celebrating. You could have had a game winner right there. This is a massive 3rd and goal for Harvard, as it's going to be wide open. 34 getting picked on again, and the Minutemen take the late lead. After a good kick return, the Crimson have 31 seconds to get this one into the end zone, and that's a good start. They used their first timeout after moving the chains there. The quarterback has time in the pocket, throws this one back across the field, and it's going to be caught for another first. They have 18 seconds to go 25 yards now, pressured and incomplete with a flag down for holding. Now they have 15 seconds to go 35 yards. Their quarterback has a clean pocket. He's going for it all here, wide open. How on earth did the Minutemen let someone get by them like that? Looking at the instant replay, it was just a terrible mismatch. The linebacker on the running back, and he just outran him by 10 yards. Harvard is looking to keep the Ivy League win streak alive, but there's still 9 seconds left on the clock, and Harvard cannot give up a big kick return here. Already across the 30, taken down at the 40. With 7 seconds and a timeout, UMass could get off 2 plays here. Quick throw should have been picked. Instead, they've got one final chance at a Hail Mary. They go with a quick pass, and there are zeros on the clock. Harvard survives. What a way to orchestrate a game-winning drive right there. And even when they have an advantage on paper, the Minutemen continue to struggle. For the second time today, now we have gotten the Elon Phoenix Phoenix, and they're looking to expand into Virginia, where they take on Norfolk State. The Phoenix have already won a game, but the Spartans have a slightly better overall. And if I remember right, Mike Vick is this team's new head coach in real life. They really could have used his help here though, as it looks like they're just going to get shut out at home unless they can pull off some kind of big play here, which is exactly what they're going to do, so at least they don't get totally embarrassed. Their 2-point try was no good though, and this onside kick is horrible, so they're going to fall. And the Phoenix are going to be collecting their second victory of Imperialism. Out in the East, they've got one of the bigger territories right now, but there are 64 other teams that also want to come out victorious here, and Southern Illinois is going to get their chance. We've already seen 2 teams from the state duke it out, and Western Illinois is going to be under attack yet again. Looking at the overalls, the Salukis are slightly higher, but the Leathernecks did not care, as they are currently up by 12 here in the 4th quarter, and they're coming away with yet another interception. I'm pretty sure that's how their other game ended as well. They really do look like the best team in the state, and only Eastern Illinois stands in their way for that title now. Throughout both of their games, Western Illinois has actually been a surprisingly good team. We're not going to see them this time around though, no back-to-back for them, as we're back to Towson. The Tigers were already victorious in their first game of the day, but now they're going to be on the attack against James Madison. The Dukes may be a solid group of 5 team in 2025, but here Towson is slight favorites to beat them. James Madison had a big 3rd quarter to give them the lead, but they're only up by 6, and the Tigers are looking to put together a game-winning drive. Towson is 20 yards away from Pater, now make it 24. Great play made there by the Dukes defense, who need to stand strong here. About a minute left to go into the end zone, and how did 34 not pick that? That could have won James Madison the game. Instead, it's 3rd and long, and the quarterback is looking to scramble for it, makes the first man miss before being sat down. It all comes down to this 4th and 4, direct snap to the running back. The Dukes are all over it, and I think they're going to avoid the loss. Towson only has 2 timeouts, and if James Madison can pick up a first, it'll be over. 2nd and 3 after the run, the Tigers need a miracle. They're not going to get one. The Dukes survive, and who knows, that could be the first of many wins for them. There are 63 teams still left, and this could be anybody's game. Appalachian State is known for pulling off big upsets, and that arrow is going to put them against Tennessee Tech. If the Mountaineers lose this one though, the Golden Eagles will be the ones coming away with the upset. Well, with 35 seconds left, Tennessee Tech has a chance to go downfield and tie this game up. That's a huge sack for the Mountaineers though. 30 seconds left to play, and they get to them again. There's a reason the Golden Eagles have had to settle for only 2 field goals today. They have not done a good job scoring. Here the quarterback is extending the play, launching it downfield, and it could have been complete if he got that pass off cleanly. Instead, it's 4th and a mile with the game on the line, and they're going to sack him for the 3rd time in 4 plays. The Mountaineers are going to be moving on, and they're going to be expanding into part of Tennessee now. Just based off of their overall alone, I feel like App State's going to be one of the favorites to win this whole thing, and Yale is once again on the attack. And with that spin, we're getting one of the best rivalries in football, the game, Yale versus Harvard. This is one of the oldest rivalries in the history of football, as this rivalry goes all the way back to 1875. Even though Yale leads this series all time, it was Harvard that dominated, as they're going to win this one by 28. That one was never really in doubt for the Crimson, as they were in control throughout the entire game. For being such a historic rivalry, you would hope it would be a little bit closer. And now we're going to be headed slightly down south to Hampton. That arrow's going to point them in the direction of Elon, who's going to be playing yet again. The Pirates look like the better team on paper, but Elon has already won a few games. And whoever wins this one is going to have a target on their back, because they're going to have the most land out east right now, and this one is still in doubt. The Pirates are down by 2 and looking to get into field goal range. Off of the play fake now, their quarterback's going to launch that into traffic. There's going to be a flag on the play, holding on the offense. And I'm surprised their receiver survived that hit. A minute 20 left to go. That's going to be a strike, which is caught, but there's another flag for holding. Their coach is understandably frustrated, because it's 1st and 30 after they were very undisciplined. That's going to be a drop, and you cannot be having these mistakes right now. After all of those blunders, it's 2nd down and 30. Looking to get a chunk of yardage here, and they do. That's going to make this 3rd down very manageable. Pass is already going to be out, tipped, and incomplete, which means it's going to come down to 4th and 8 with 50 seconds left to go. Caught and 1st down. They barely got enough to move the chains here. Quick pass, it's going to be another drop, and they're still probably about 20 yards outside of field goal range. Pass is going to be dropped yet again. again, unbelievable. Between all the holding and the drops, they're really selling on this drive. This pass is going to be caught though, and that should put them in field goal range. Elon has got to be sweating right now as their defense has to come up with the stop. Instead, they're going to get away from the first contact and second contact. And the Pirates are in full control of this one. Handoff is going to pick up a first down and more. Touchdown Hampton. That's going to give them the lead with 13 seconds to go. And they're going for 2 to make it a 6-point game. Play fake, firing this one to the corner. It's good. The Phoenix only have 11 seconds left now to pull off some kind of a miracle. Solid start right there. But they need chunk plays, not 6 yards at a time. 5 seconds left remaining. Here's a shot downfield. It's going to be caught, tackled, and there's zeros on the clock. They did not have enough time to call their timeout, and the Pirates win. Elon's going to go from having all of this territory here to none. But now Hampton has 6 teams on their border that could potentially attack them. Down to 60 teams left. We still have a majority of this to go as we started with about 83, I want to say. And now we're going to get a look at Northern Colorado. Headed back out west after a lot of time in the east. And we're not even going to get to see a game played as they just take Kansas. That's probably good for the Bears though, because they are one of the worst teams in all of FCS. And just like that, we're headed back out east for Richmond. The Spiders are going to be going on the attack to Eastern Kentucky, and we'll see if the Colonials can hold their own here. Growing up, I kind of liked Richmond, if only because I really like Spider-Man and their mascot was the Spiders. And you know what? They might have a superhero at quarterback the way he was able to throw that. Unfortunately, Peter Parker was not their receiver there, so that pass fell incomplete. And any hope of a comeback here rests on then converting this 4th and 10, which is not going to happen. So with that sack, Eastern Kentucky will survive. That's going to take us back to the wheel, and we're just going to be going a little bit down south. Down to Tennessee State we go, and they're going to be headed east facing Chattanooga. Looking at the overall, the Tigers do have the advantage on paper, but the Mocs are the home team, so this could go either way. Well, with a minute and a half left to go, we're all knotted up at 10 apiece, and Chattanooga picks up the first. Now the question is, are they going to try to win this in regulation, or are they content with overtime? Tennessee State would certainly prefer overtime, though, as they come up with a big sack there. They're looking to get another one here, but the quarterback is going to break free. He's not going very far, though. And now the Mocs face a 3rd and long, about 30 seconds left to go, and down goes the quarterback. The Tigers are going to have a chance to win it in regulation now, so Chattanooga better hope that they have a good punt to pin them back in their own territory. And you know, that was all right, getting out to about the 35. The Mocs just can't give up any big plays now, and they're going to get a sack of their own here, and holding on the play. With 25 seconds left, this game looks destined for overtime. 3rd down and long, they're still trying to get a big play. That was kind of dangerous, and it falls incomplete. Chattanooga's going to have one more chance to win this game in regulation, and a big punt return would be huge. He's going to fight to the right side near midfield, but there's going to be holding. That's going to push them back to the 39-yard line, but it's not going to stop them from trying to get into field goal range. Out to the 50 now with a running clock. Looking to get a Hail Mary off pass is going to be caught. Get out of bounds. No. But it looks like it was a free play, so they're going to get one more play. Obviously too far for a field goal. You've got to go Hail Mary. There are zeros on the clock, and there's a flag down on the play. It doesn't even matter what's going to happen because this is holding. Spectacular catch by the receiver, though. But that means we're headed for overtime. The Tigers are going to get the football first. Here's a quick play fake, and that should have been 6. You can't be dropping passes like that at this point in the game. So now it's going to be 3rd and 3. They're going to go with another play fake, wide open downfield, and he's going to make up for the tight end's mistake. Tennessee State takes the lead. Chattanooga needs a touchdown on this drive to match what Tennessee State did, but they're going backwards. 3rd and long after the sack. They need to get at least a chunk play here as they take a shot to the end zone, and he's down at the goal line. What a play for the Mocs right there. They are 1 yard away from responding. 2nd and goal after that stop. They're going to go with a play fake now, throwing to the corner, and they're in the end zone. 2nd overtime now. Chattanooga's going to go off of the play fake, fire a strike to the right side, and they're in the end zone yet again. The Tigers have to respond now. They're going to go to the ground. Nice spin move, and that's going to be a 1st down. That's going to set up goal to go now for the Tigers. They're going to be running the football again, and he crosses the plane. Touchdown Tennessee State. All of a sudden, this game is coming to life as we are now in triple overtime, and neither of these teams want to be eliminated. 3rd down and 7, and they've got the conversion. Both offenses just keep coming up clutch. Looking to run the football into the end zone. He gets close. 3rd and goal now. They're just 1 yard away from pay dirt. They're going to run a toss play, but they're not getting in. That is a huge stop there for Chattanooga, and that's going to force Tennessee State to kick a field goal. That means a touchdown wins it for the Mocs. Off of the play fake, they're going to go for it all there, and they're going to win, but there's a flag on the play. bring it on back. It was too good to be true for UTC. Now they're back at the 34-yard line. Quarterback is looking to run, and he'll pick up a few on the ground, making it 2nd down and 14. Quarterback drops back to pass, go into the end zone, and he's off the mark. So now it's 3rd and 14. They need the conversion here. He takes a shot, and it's caught. Big catch by Miller to keep the drive alive. Play fake now, going for it all, tipped up into the air and incomplete. That's going to make this 3rd down now. Dropping back to throw, going for the win. Knocked away. And I don't know if this game is ever going to end, as each team matches what the previous team did. At this point, we've had more points scored in overtime than we did in regulation. Remember, we went into overtime at 10 apiece. Now Chattanooga is going to get a touchdown, and all they need is a stop to win. Of course, now that it is the 4th overtime, though, they have to go for 2. Play fake, looking to throw for it, and they've got it. Tennessee State has to score 8 points now if they want to stay alive in this one. That sack is going to make it 3rd and 17 now. They need a big conversion here. Time in the pocket, and incomplete. 4th and long now. Game on the line, and they get a free rush. Breaks away from it, but he still gets taken down. Chattanooga wins. And that is by far the longest game we have had in this Imperialism. And it was all that just to get a little part of Tennessee. I can't complain though, because that was also one of the best games we've gotten all day long. Now we've got Villanova. And unfortunately for them, this isn't basketball. That arrow is going to point them up north, meaning they're going to take on Cornell. And throughout this Imperialism, the Ivy League has not had the best luck. The Big Red may not be that bad though, as they're currently up by 1. That's going to be a fumble, and they jump on top of it. Villanova wanted to get into field goal range, but instead Cornell got the fumble going their way, and they're looking to add on to their lead. The Wildcats are down to just 1 timeout now, as the Big Red are trying to run out the clock. And it's all going to come down to this 3rd and 1. Can Villanova make a stand? No, they cannot. Cornell moves the chains. And I think that's the nail in the coffin, as Cornell is just going to kneel this one out. After that victory, the Big Red now have a lot more territory, probably the most out of any Ivy League school. We've had a lot of fun, good, close games so far. Let's see if Maine has anything like that for us. The Black Bears already took down the Big Green, and now they want to take down the other team in that state, New Hampshire. This is a big rivalry for these teams, with the Wildcats being slightly favored. And you gotta love it, this is another snow game. With under a minute left to go, it looks like New Hampshire will be defending their territory successfully, especially if the Black Bears can't be disciplined. The Wildcats currently have a 13-point lead, and that would be very tough to blow with under a minute left to play, although Maine is getting a big completion. They just need to score 2 touchdowns and recover an onside kick all in the next 45 seconds. And 8-yard checkdowns are not going to win you big comebacks like this. Maybe a big play like that will, down to the 5. That's going to set up goal to go now. They need to pass for it, and they will, as New Hampshire sent an all-out blitz, and the quarterback picked it apart. But if they don't recover this onside kick, it's going to be all for naught. The Wildcats are going to survive the attack, and they're going to have most of this Northeastern corner. A valiant effort of a comeback for the Black Bears, though, as they were making things pretty close near the end after Rhode Island had dominated for most of that game. Headed down south now to Southern for a second time, and they're going to go on the attack against Northwestern State. It's been a little bit since we've seen one of these Louisiana teams, and this one never really felt very competitive, with the Demons never having a lead in this one. They're going to go with a deep play here that they will get, but their chances of an 11-point comeback are very slim right now. Northwestern taking another shot to the end zone, and that's going to be 6. So don't go away yet, they still have some life. They'll go for 2 to make this a 3-point game. Play fake now, and he's got a man wide open. Now looking to attempt the onside kick. We have yet to see one of these recovered today, and that trend continues. And since the Demons only have 1 timeout, Southeastern will win for a second time. That victory is going to expand their hold on the state of Louisiana. And here's a look at what the nation looks like with 55 teams remaining. Not even halfway done yet, there are still a lot of teams that have yet to play. Now Northeastern is one of the interesting teams on the map, I'd say, because this game was made just before their football team was disbanded. The Huskies haven't played football in 16 years now, but they're still going to give their all against Harvard. And that's what they've done for a majority of this game, at one point having a 28-point lead on the Crimson, but with a minute left, Harvard has a chance to tie this game up. That's going to be a fumble on the play though, and they're going to jump on top of it anyway. The fans here at Cambridge have had quite the experience here in the 4th quarter, because all of a sudden their offense just came to life and the ball also started rolling their way. 45 seconds left to go now. They're going for it all, and it's going to be intercepted. The Huskies have it. What an unbelievable play made there. The 5th turnover by Harvard. You can see why they were in such a hole to begin with, but it's the Huskies that come away with a big play at the end. Northeastern, a football team that doesn't even exist anymore, is looking for their first win in ages. But since Harvard has all their timeouts, they need to pick up a first down, and that's exactly what they're going to get here. Despite almost choking a 28-point lead, the Huskies are going to hold on. And poor Brown is just going to be surrounded at this point. If the wheel lands on them, we will know exactly who they're going to be playing. It didn't land on them there, as we're going to see App State for a second time. The Mountaineers are headed northeast, playing William and Mary. The Tribe are one of the better rated FCS teams in this game, but so are the Mountaineers. And only one of them can be victorious in this one. Well, both of these teams have played like some of the best in the FCS, with Appalachian State having a 4-point lead here with 39 seconds left to play, but William and Mary is looking to put together a game-winning drive, and they might do it in one play right here. Down the left sideline, touchdown Tribe. That's how you put together a game-winning drive right there. That does give Appalachian State half a minute left to get into field goal range, but the ball's on the ground. Luckily for them, they do recover. They also have all their timeouts to get themselves into field goal range. This strike over the middle is going to be caught, but I don't know if the 32 is going to be close enough for them. Now their quarterback is looking to take off and run, picking up 5. Down to 1 timeout with 17 seconds left. Now he's going to send his running back in motion. Fire that one to the left side, first down. That also stopped the clock, and this should be field goal range for them. This pass is going to be caught, and that is definitely field goal range now. But I think they want to take one more shot to the end zone here. Off of the play fake, their quarterback's going to take off and run, looking for the end zone, but he stopped short, and there's zeros on the clock. Their greed cost them. Appalachian State goes down. What an unbelievable stop by the William and Mary defense. The Mountaineers did not want to settle for overtime, and it cost them the game. We have been blessed with so many close games throughout this entire Imperialism, and I can only hope that trend continues. The Panthers are the only team that we have yet to see out of the state of Illinois, but they're not going to be taking on their Western foe, instead going to Indiana State. Indiana does have a few other FCS schools, but the Sycamores were the only one in the game, so they've got to represent their state well in this one. Unfortunately, they have not done a great job of that today, trailing by 10 in the 4th. They need this 3rd down conversion, and they get it. Under a minute left to go, and they need big plays here. That's exactly what their quarterback's going to get them on this one, as they get down to the 11-yard line, but they only have 1 timeout left. 30 seconds left to play, and that's going to be a Sycamore touchdown. Indiana State is not dead yet. They need this onside kick to keep that hope alive, and they won't get it. The Panthers are going to move on, and they're going to be expanding their territory out east. It's nice to see things start to clear up on that part of the map, and we almost got Eastern Illinois back to back. Instead, we went a little bit down south to Eastern Kentucky, and they're going to be taking on Youngstown State. The Penguins have the home field advantage and the higher overall, but neither of those things have stopped the Colonials from having a late 3-point lead in this one, but it's not going to last for long. The Penguins go on top 22-19, and with the PAT, it's going to be a 4-point game. The Colonials now have 39 seconds to respond and get into the end zone, but that big hit's going to make it 3rd and long. They're going to need some chunk plays if they want to survive. This is going to be a swing pass out to the running back. He takes it upfield and makes it 4th and short. 4th down and 3, game on the line. Quarterback is going to take the snap, navigates the pocket, launches this one downfield. His man was wide open, and it bounces off of Allen's hands. The Colonials are going to fall here. Unbelievable job by the receiver here to get plenty of separation. He got wide open, and that would have been a touchdown. But instead, the Penguins lived to see another day. Don't quote me on this, but I feel like the attacking teams are on a little bit of a losing streak right now, which could spell bad news for Delaware State. They're going to be squaring off against the other Delaware school, which we haven't seen in a minute. But they have definitely won the most games so far today. And I think this is the first time they've gotten to play at home. And I think they're enjoying playing at home because they have just dominated the Hornets throughout this entire contest. Delaware State never had a lead once throughout this entire game, and now they're just playing for a little bit of garbage points and getting a few yards. But even if they get into the end zone on this final play of the game, nothing is going to change from the final score. Delaware State is not going to be victorious, and yeah, just get a few more yards there. The Fightin' Blue Hens are now the only team left in their state, and right now they're looking like a strong contender for winning this whole thing. 33 teams have now been eliminated, only 50 remain, and for just the second time today, we're going down to Texas. Sam Houston may be an FBS team now, but back in 2008, they were in the FCS. FCS, and they've got a rivalry matchup here against Stephen F. Austin. Whoever is victorious here will have one of the biggest territories on the map. Sam Houston may have been the aggressor here, but I don't really think they were ready for the Lumberjacks, because they're down by 16 right now in the final minute, and look at that fight by the running back. He just put the game on ice with that first down, and Sam Houston was playing about as good as they were in the 2021 playoffs. After that result, there are only 3 teams left now in the state of Texas, and you've got to be kidding me. Okay, I thought we were about to see Delaware again. Instead, we got Eastern Illinois. We've already seen the Panthers be victorious once, but they want the whole state for themselves, so they're going to be taking on Western Illinois. But based on how the Leathernecks have played so far, I would put my money on them. If I was a betting man, I would have just made some money, because Western Illinois currently has a 14-point lead. The Panthers are calling timeouts and trying to come back, but I think it's too little too late for that. And apparently Western does not feel comfortable kicking from the 27-yard line because their offense is still on the field, and they convert. From there, they can just run out the rest of this clock and prove to everybody that they are the best team in the state. Western Illinois has actually won several games now. They could be a sleeper team to win this whole thing. And now we're going to be headed back down to the state of Louisiana. The Tigers are going to be headed outside of their state, though, taking on Arkansas Pine Bluff. This is a conference game, which is favoring Grambling State on paper. The Golden Lions have kept it within 1 score here late in the 4th, but things aren't looking great for them. If they want any kind of a chance to avoid elimination, they have to get a stop on 3rd and 3, and that did not happen. Grambling State moves on, and they're going to gain a whole lot more land by being victorious. We're just going to keep chugging along now with the wheel, and Northeastern is looking to run it back. I'm already impressed with their single victory, and they're looking to take down another Ivy League school in Brown. The Bears honestly might be one of the best rated Ivy League schools in this game, and they are one of 3 schools left in the conference. Right now, Northeastern is looking to put together a second victory, and that might get them on the outskirts of field goal range. Currently, the Bears are only up by 1, and that was a big play there for the Huskies. Now with about 30 seconds left, they're going to pick up 7, and they should be in field goal range at the 21. They're not going to convert on 3rd down though, so they're going to have to kick the field goal now to take the late lead. It's going to be no good. It was short. I know you're an FCS kicker, but you've got to hit that. The Bears are lucky to survive this one, and I'm going to be honest, I was rooting for Northeastern to go on a run. There was just something fun about rooting for a football team that doesn't exist anymore, and now we're going to be headed out west. We haven't been out here in a while, and we get to visit the Eagles, and they're going to be attacking the Kibbe Dome. Even though the Vandals were not an FCS team at the time, they are now, so I figured I'd throw them in there. And even in this game, their overall looks like an FCS team. The Vandals have played pretty good in this one though, as they currently have a 14-point lead late in the game. Their defense has Eastern Washington on a 4th and 13. They're trying to come back. It's not going to happen. With their FBS experience, Idaho might have a slight edge out there. And here's an updated look at the map with 45 teams left. There are still plenty of teams that have not had to play once, but we're going to see one of them here with Montana. Staying out west, we have another one of the highest rated FCS teams, and just like that, the Vandals are under attack again. Going into this one, the Grizzlies are a higher overall than the Vandals. Montana had control of this one for a majority of the game, but now the Vandals are trying to put together a comeback. They're currently down by 3 with just under a minute left to go. Their quarterback is going to fire a strike for a first down, and now they only have 1 timeout left. 53 seconds remaining, evading the pressure, and sacked. Now they got to hurry up back to the line on 2nd down and 18. Play fake now. Their quarterback is looking to throw. Fires this one deep. That's going to be caught for 6, but there's a flag on the play. They're going to have to get the touchdown all over again now. And we've seen a good amount of holding throughout this Imperialism. Now flush to his right, the quarterback is going to take off and run. That's going to pick up 8. It's still 3rd and long though. Looking to throw, evades the first sack, gets away from the second. The pass is caught, but it's going to be inbounds. They have to use their last time out here, but the clock is continuing to run. They did finally call it with 4 seconds left, but now they need a Hail Mary. Final play of the game, rolling to his right, throws that one on the move. It's gonna be a turnover on downs, and the Grizzlies hold on. So just as quickly as they won, the Vandals fall. And I feel like from what we saw there, the Grizzlies are gonna be a very tough team for anyone to beat. The wheel has spoken, and we are headed back down to South Carolina, where the Bulldogs are gonna be attacking Furman. We've got a rivalry game here, with the Paladins having a slight advantage. And they have used that slight advantage to their benefit, as they now have an 11-point lead on the Citadel, who is gonna be getting a big play here, breaking free for a touchdown, so the Bulldogs are not done yet. Going for the 2-point try to make it a 3-point game. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. He's in. We have yet to see a successful onside kick attempt yet, and it's not happening here. Luckily for the Citadel, they still do have all of their timeouts. They just got to get a stop right here, and that's a good start. All their offense needs is a chance. Another run, another short gain. That brings up 3rd and 5. They just need one more stop, but Furman's looking to throw for it, and they should have had it. It bounced off of his receiver. If the Paladins lose because of that, it's going to be brutal. But the offense is still on the field on 4th down. They want to put the nail in the coffin here, and they will. Not too fast, though. There's a flag down, and it's yet another holding call. Furman's going to have to punt it away now with just a minute left. Can the Citadel do something with it? Not here. But they do have time to drive into field goal range now. Sends a man in motion, and they're going to run the football, and I think they caught him off guard. That picks up a quick first, but they need chunk plays. Going to the air, now it's going to be caught, moving the chains and more down the left sideline. That gets them into Furman's side of the field. Quick pass is caught, and they hurry up to the line. 41 seconds left to go now. Clean pocket for the quarterback who's going to take off and run, fighting for 5. And again, they're going up tempo. Just 23 seconds left to go. Quarterback is going to take the snap, immediately looks to scramble. He's got a first down, evades the first man, and he's down inside the 10. That's field goal range, but can they get inside of the end zone? Quick throw is going to be caught, and he's not going anywhere. And the clock is going to continue to run. They're all out of timeouts, and just like Appalachian State, they were greedy at the end, and it cost them the game. You should have just spiked the ball and kick your field goal. Instead, you have been eliminated. So another Bulldog team has been eliminated. With 43 teams left remaining, we are about at the halfway point now, and we're going to be headed back down to the state of Mississippi, where the Delta Devils are going to be attacking Alabama State. This is going to be a rivalry game that slightly favors the Hornets, but they are the ones trailing by 2 touchdowns here with a minute left to go. Their quarterback trying to lead a comeback here, but after that deflection, it's 3rd down. Looking for the conversion, and he's got it. But they're going to need to score a quick touchdown if they want to get back into this one, and they're getting close. 4 yards away now, and once again, they're going to be looking to throw for it. All day for the quarterback to throw, and that's going to be a Hornets touchdown brought back due to holding. That backs them up to the 14-yard line, where once again they're looking to pass, and that is not one you want to catch. It's now 2nd and goal from the 19, going off the play fake, quarterback rolling to his left, pass tipped up into the air and incomplete. 3rd and long now, and ideally they get into the end zone here. Stepping up into the pocket, taking a shot there, but he overthrew his man badly. Any hopes of a comeback rests on this play. 4th down and 19, evading the first sack, getting the pass off, and it's going to be caught. A miracle play from the Hornets, and it's going to keep their comeback hopes alive. They need this onside kick, though. No one's been very good at them today, and it's not going to happen here. And from there, Mississippi Valley State can kneel this one out. That victory is going to about double their land now, and that is one less team that is going to be standing at the end of this video. We're going to be going back up to the Northeast now, and that arrow is going to pit Portland State against the Grizzlies. As we've seen, Montana's one of the highest rated FCS teams in the game, so it's going to be tough to take them down. Washington Grizzlies Stadium is also one of the few FCS stadiums that is actually in this game, which gave the Grizzlies a pretty nice advantage in this one, as they're going to dominate the Vikings by 45. No need to stick around in that matchup for too long. It was clear who the victor was going to be, and that's going to give Montana the largest piece of land on the map. The only issue with that, though, is it might put a big target on their back now. And now we're going down to the state of Texas to see the Panthers play, and they're going to be attacking an in-state team in Stephen F. Austin. Not that they had a choice to attack someone from out of state, because Prairie View A&M is a little landlocked at the moment. The Panthers may have been better staying landlocked, though, as they're currently down by 25 in the final minute. Stephen F. Austin is just going to run out the rest of this clock, and their dominant win means they're going to take a big part of Texas. We've got 40 teams left on the wheel, and I think we're about to see an old friend. No, not quite. Instead of Delaware again, we get a Florida team for the first time, where Florida A&M is going to take on Bethune-Cookman. This is the Florida Classic, where the Rattlers have a slightly better offense. That offense has led them to a 17-point lead here late in the 4th quarter in the pouring rain. The Wildcats just trying to do something here at the end. But obviously, they're not going to score 17 points in the next 12 seconds, which means just like that, Bethune-Cookman goes down. I'm honestly kind of surprised with how few Texas and Florida FCS teams there are in this game, and it was only a matter of time before the Fightin' Blue Hens got selected again. That arrow's going to take them up north to Hofstra, which, similar to Northeastern, terminated their football program after 2009. But maybe one of the last teams they put together is ready to pull off the upset. So far, they've managed to keep this one somewhat close with Delaware, trailing by 14 with about a minute and a half left to go. After shaking off the shack, he has a man wide open, and he's going to take that into the end zone. What a play by the quarterback here to get out of the pressure and find an open man downfield. And the Pride still have a chance to pull off a miracle run. Hofstra football fans have not had a ton to cheer about over the last 16 or so years. That onside kick was nothing to get excited for. Their defense can still get a stop on the Fightin' Blue Hens though. They just can't give up a first down, and unfortunately they gave up much more than that. They're lucky that wasn't a touchdown. But maybe Delaware did that on purpose to be able to run off some more clock, and their offensive line is just bulldozing them. They did stop the clock with a timeout here. It looks like that the Fightin' Blue Hens are running the same play. It's going to be another first down. A yard away from a 2-touchdown game yet again, and Delaware's getting it. They really made it look easy on that drive. The Pride aren't completely dead yet, just mostly dead. Quick pass is going to pick up a few, but they need chunk plays if they want to double their score in the next minute. Wobbly pass is caught, and that gets them across the 50 with under a minute left to go. Third down is going to be converted, but they have to be hurrying things up now on offense. Dropping back to throw yet again, time in the pocket, and it's dropped. But honestly, I don't think he was going very far. 30 seconds left as they're at the 35-yard line. Stepping up into this throw, it's going to be caught for 15. But remember, they still have to score 2 touchdowns here in the last 20 seconds. So ideally, they get into the end zone right here on this play. That's what they're going for, and you cannot be dropping that pass. I know this comeback is slim, but you're not doing your team any favors. That pass is only going to pick up a few, and the clock is continuing to run. I'm afraid about all hope is going to be lost as we see the clock count down. Even if they get into the end zone here, there are zeros on the clock, which means Delaware holds on for yet another victory. At this point, it looks like the Fightin' Blue Hens are just going to take all of the Northeast. But will Youngstown State take the Midwest? Not here they won't be, as they're just going to take West Virginia. That means we're going to have a quick turnaround back to the wheel now, and we've got an Ivy League school coming up. And out of the 8 that started, Cornell is just one of 3 left. Similar to the Penguins though, they're not attacking any teams, just taking Vermont. We haven't seen much of this free real estate get taken throughout this video, so that's a nice change of pace. And if this arrow goes the right way, Chattanooga could also claim some land. I can't believe it actually did. The Mocs are taking Georgia. So we really just went from barely seeing any of the free states taken to 3 in a row now. West Carolina's not going to have that option though, as the Catamounts are going to be forced to attack William and Mary. The tribe has already done some damage in this imperialism, and now they have damaged the hopes and dreams of Catamounts fans everywhere, crushing them in this one. 42-24 is your final, and the tribe is on the move. William and Mary could really do some damage in this, I think. They've got a pretty good overall for an FCS team. And now Murray State gets called on for the first time. The Racers are headed out east, and this time Youngstown State has to play. No sitting around and just claiming territory for the Penguins this time. But as we have seen, Youngstown State is not afraid to work for their victories either, though it was really only the one time that they claimed some free land. They've already won once, and they're doing so again today, as they expand out west now, taking the last Kentucky team with them. Even with 36 teams left remaining, there's still a good number that have yet to play yet, and Tennessee Martin is one of those until now. The Skyhawks are going to be taking on in-state rival Chattanooga, where based on overall, the Mocs have a slight advantage. It really is just a slight advantage though, as they're currently down by 3 with under 2 minutes left. That fullback dive gets them down to the goal line, and the running back finishes the job. The Mocs are taking the lead. Tennessee Martin still has about a minute 20 left to go, as they're going to muff the kickoff here. Luckily, it's pretty easy to recover, and he's working his way down the left sideline. Could this be a kick return touchdown? No, not quite, but it does put them in prime scoring position. Going with a direct snap, that's a first down, and the Skyhawks are feeling hyped right now. They still need to get into the end zone though, and they're going with a direct snap again. That time it only picked up 2. Now going with the traditional handoff, and it's going to get blown up in the backfield. That makes it 3rd and 11, and they're going to pass for this. Stepping up into the throw, and it's going to be 4th down. So Tennessee Martin went from a big kick return to 4th down and 11. And that drop is not going to help them. I'm not sure if he would have picked it up, but he's definitely not going to if he can't hang on to the ball. Chattanooga's defense stood strong right there, and it's going to result in a victory. That leaves the Mocs as the last original team in the state of Tennessee. And here's a look at the United States with just 35 FCS teams left remaining. And out of those 35 teams, there's still 14 to my count that have yet to play. Wolford was one of them until the wheel just landed on them. The Terriers are being sent south to take on in-state rival Furman. And we've already seen the Paladins be victorious today, but they're going to need a good 2-minute drill here if they want to keep that winning alive. Rolling out to his left, the quarterback has a man downfield, and that should already get them in field goal range. Ideally for them, though, they get this one into the end zone. Quarterback is going to take off and run, fighting for the first down. But like we've seen so often, there's a holding penalty. I really should adjust that slider. It feels like we've seen way too many of those throughout this video. Looking to throw for it. Now he gets the first down. Penalty does not matter. A yard away from the end zone, lining up in the I formation. The ball's on the ground though, and Wolford jumps on top of it. What a massive stop from the Terriers defense. And if they can pick up a couple of first downs, this one's over. Going with a little bit of an end around, and that's already one there. Paladins use their first timeout after that one. It's going to be another handoff, taking this one to the outside. First down yardage and more down the right sideline, and I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin. No defender in sight, high stepping his way into the end zone. 85 yards for what looks to be the win, and that's going to get Price over 200 rushing yards on just 9 carries. Between him and Wolford's defense, they all deserve game balls for their clutch performances as the ball's on the ground, and the Terriers are going to jump on top of it. Furman really has just fumbled this game away, and it's going to cost them, as Wolford is going to be taking all of South Carolina. From the Paladins' past performances, I really thought that they were going to do better, and for the first time today, we're going to Missouri. The Red Hawks are headed out east to take on Western Illinois, who I did give a bigger logo to, that way it wasn't so pixelated. And right after I give them that big logo, they could just lose it. And they're at risk of that if they don't get a defensive stop here. Red Hawks looking to put together a game-tying drive. That's a big play, but there's a flag. And you guessed it, it's holding again. I may have completely forgot to change those sliders. Hopefully it does not cost Southeastern Missouri State the game. Nice chunk play there, makes it 2nd down and 8. Minute 20 left to go. Their quarterback fires this one downfield, and you can't drop that. These FCS receivers are just so unreliable. And that's going to make this 3rd down and 8. Dropping back to pass. He's got time. Fires that one downfield. This time it's going to be caught. Getting away from the first man. It's a race to the end zone. I think he's going to be caught. No, he will not be. Diving across the plane for the score. The Leathernecks do have a minute left to respond, and getting a big kick return here would be nice. He's got some open room. Gets past the first man, and I don't believe it. He's going to take this one all the way. The tie does not last long. Western Illinois is back on top. But now it's the Red Hawks who have a minute left to respond, and they could use a kick return touchdown of their own. Fields was not at the 30. He's going to get into open space, and I don't believe it. He's got a ton of room. These FCS kickers do not have big legs, which leads to some great field position for their opponents. Off of the play fake now, dumping that one off in the flat, and that's another bad drop for them. 44 seconds left now, it's 3rd and 8. Looking for the conversion, and another drop for the Red Hawks. I feel like they've been dropping more passes than most other teams. Looking for the 4th down conversion, and the drops strike again. That is just a rough way for Southeast Missouri State to go out, and it's going to cost them their half of the state, while the Leathernecks hold on for yet another victory. Last time Northern Colorado was selected, they just claimed land, but this time around they're going to be attacking the other school in Missouri. Even though the Northern Colorado Bears have a cupcake roster, it is still a higher overall than the Missouri State Bears. In real life this year, UNC was one of the worst teams in the FCS, while Missouri State is headed up to the FBS this year. In this battle of the Bears, it's Missouri State who's currently up by 2 touchdowns, and a first down is going to be the nail in the coffin. So at least the Bears aren't losing to one of the worst teams in the country. We're just going to have to see how well they do against FBS competition in real life this year. But for now, they're expanding in FCS Imperialism, and they're really the first team that's starting to connect the East to the West. Alabama A&M has been selected for the first time, and the Bulldogs are going to be put up against Chattanooga. The Mocs have had a pretty good run so far in this one, and they've got themselves a 10-point lead here late in the 4th. Alabama A&M is going backwards, so now the Bulldogs face a 4th and 26 with a running clock down by 10, and they're going down again. The Mocs fans are celebrating another victory, and they could very well be the best team down here in the Southeast. We are starting to see slowly but surely powers coming from each corner of the nation, and Howard is the last Ivy League school we have yet to see, and they're going to be crossing waters over here to take on James Madison. The Ivy League schools have been performing a little better as of late, and the Bison's strong defense has been representing them well, as with a minute and a half left, it's 7-0. They have just been stifling the Duke's offense all day, and if they can do it for one more drive, they're going to be victorious. All day for the quarterback to throw, steps up into this one, it's going to be caught, receiver cuts up field, takes a big hit, but makes it 3rd and manageable. They need 7 yards for the first down here, looking to throw for it, stepping up into the pocket, and sacked again. The James Madison quarterback just had nowhere to go, and if they don't pick up this 4th down, it's going to be over. Sack sacked again. Howard's defense has just been incredible today, and that result is going to mean another victory for the Ivy League. And now I can also give Howard a more accurate location for them on the map. Of the original 83, we have just 30 teams left remaining, and it's really starting to get good now as teams are really starting to get established. And it almost looked like we had Howard for back-to-back turns there. Instead, Idaho State's going to be taking on the Grizzlies, and this is going to be a very tough task for the Bengals. If they can pull off this upset here, though, everyone across the nation will be very thankful. It's just going to be very tough to take down Montana. The Bengals are trying their best, though, as somehow we are tied up at 17 with under 2 minutes left to play, and that's going to be a big one. If they can bleed some clock and kick a game-winning field goal, that would be huge for them, and they're already in field goal range. The Grizzlies' defense has been giving up big plays. Back-to-back chunk plays that Montana has given up now, and now Idaho's going to be running the football, looking for the end zone, and stopped at the 1-yard line. That allows some more clock to be ran, though, as they're looking to punch it in. They don't get it. But honestly, that's okay for them. Unfortunately, though, Idaho State called a timeout, but they are going to punch it in here. Fullback gives them a lead with 58 seconds remaining, but the Grizz do still have some time to respond, and heck, if they get a good kickoff here, that could be huge. Fielding this one just shy of the 25-yard line. He's going to cut this one to the right, and they're already near midfield. They have all 3 timeouts to work with here, but they need to get this one into the end zone about 50 yards downfield, and now is not the time to be dropping passes. That was only first down, though, so it's okay. Off of the play fake now, firing that one downfield again. It's going to be caught, and they use their first timeout. 34 yards away from the end zone. Now it's going to be cut yet again down the right sideline. That's a Montana touchdown. It didn't take long for the Grizzlies to respond, but now it's Idaho State who has another opportunity to take a late lead. Kicks is going to be fielded at about the 23-yard line. The ball's on the ground, though, and the Grizzlies recover. Unbelievable luck for Montana, and they should be just about in field goal range now here at the 29. That play's going to pick up 6, and they're looking to throw for it yet again. That should definitely be field goal range now. Clock is running down as they're going to send a man in motion, run this one right up the middle, and centered at the 10. This is going to be a 27-yard field goal for the win. It is good, and Idaho State needs a miracle with these last 2 seconds. We've seen kick return touchdowns throughout this imperialism, and the return man needs to make up for his mistake. He's gonna field this one here, looking for a big return. He's in open space. I don't believe it. I think he might take it the distance. Can they catch him? No, unbelievable. The Bengals win it on the final play of the game. They take down the mighty Grizzlies, who was the favorite to win the entire thing. Unbelievable. And Montana is shocked. And honestly, I am too. I had my money on the Grizzlies taking this entire thing, and I'm honestly kind of bummed we're not going to see Cat Grizz in this video. I thought we were going to be practically guaranteed to get the Brawl of the Wild in this one, but that's why we play the games. You never know what's going to happen. That arrow directs Cornell to the northeast, where they're going to take on New Hampshire, and whoever wins this one's going to have the most territory in that area. It's the Wildcats who are going to be taking all of this territory as they end the Ivy League's winning streak. They're currently up by 14 and threatening to score yet again, bouncing off of the first man and down at the 3. Another touchdown here would just be disrespectful to the Big Red, and look at the difference in those first downs. New Hampshire just had their way today, and in the end, they decided to be respectful and not run up the score. I feel like it's going to be between them and Delaware at some point here to see who's going to claim that area, and by just a sliver, Idaho State got selected again. The Bengals already took down one Montana team. Can they take down the other now? The Bobcats may have the higher overall, but that did not matter for the Bengals last time, and it hasn't been a big deal in this one as they're only down by 4, but they get blown up on 3rd down. Tanner Ripley came up with a huge stop there, and the offense stays on the field on 4th down. Off of the play fake, Bengals quarterback's got a man wide open. He may be as slow as molasses, but he has all kinds of space across the 30, finally caught from behind. That was a 49-yard play there, now with a minute left to go, off his back foot, caught, and a pickup of 8. The Bengals just used their first timeout, so now they have to score a touchdown on this drive, and that would have been it. Instead, the drop is going to result in 4th and 2, and they got to pick this up to keep the drive alive, and they do. First down yardage and more. That's a Bengals touchdown. 2 4th downs converted on that drive, and Montana State will only have 50 seconds to get into field goal range and respond. The return is going to be muffed, but they do jump on top of it, and they are currently 66 yards away from the end zone. This pass downfield almost picked, but instead they're going to live to see another play. 44 seconds left now, firing this one downfield. It's going to be caught, and that's going to get them closer to field goal range. Dropping back to throw yet again in the face of pressure. It's another first down, and the Bobcats are only down to 1 timeout remaining. 30 seconds left to go. A clean pocket, evades the first man, gets taken down by the second. And now they have to hurry back up to the line. 15 seconds left to play. Pressured, steps up into another sack. MSU is all out of timeouts now. They need a touchdown on this play. Going for it here, caught, but he's gonna be short. And so the Bengals win again. Who would have thought that Idaho State, of all teams, would be the one eliminating both Montana schools? But yet here they are as the most powerful team in the Northwest. And they are now strong contenders to be one of the final schools and one that could potentially win it all. Wolford is now going to be looking for their second victory today, and headed out west, they're going to be the next challenger of Chattanooga. So far, the Mocs have taken down anyone that's come after them, but the Terriers have kept this one very competitive with just about a minute left to go, converting on third down. They need at least a field goal on this drive right here. Their quarterback is looking to fire this one downfield. It's going to be caught, and that's going to get them closer. Ideally for Wolford, though, this drive results in more than just a field goal. Somehow the quarterback is able to escape, fires downfield, and it's going to be caught for a touchdown. But the reason he was even able to get that pass out was because of holding. So instead of an incredible touchdown, they're out at the 43-yard line. This one is going to be caught near the first, and there they burn their second timeout. Quarterback looking to throw yet again for a big play near the end zone. That gets them down to the 2-yard line now, but now they're going backwards. Big play made by the Mocs there, looking for a touchdown wide open. Somehow Larson broke free there, and for some reason, not a single defender lined up on him. If that's what causes Chattanooga to lose in Imperialism after all of their victories, that is going to be rough, but they still do have a little bit of time. It's only 15 seconds to travel 60 yards, though. They need some big plays, and here the quarterback does have plenty of time in the pocket, fires that one, but it's going to be knocked away. With all three of their timeouts, they have the entire field available to them, evading that sack there, and they're only going to pick up a few. So barring a defensive penalty, this will be the final play of the game. It's going to be caught, but there are zeros on the clock, and Wolford is victorious. And that is just such a rough way for Chattanooga to lose. But hey, maybe Wolford's a sleeping giant. They didn't play until pretty late, and now we're going to see Texas Southern for the first time. And it was going to be tough for the Tigers to pull anyone besides Stephen F. Austin. Whoever wins this one is going to be the final team in Texas, and the Tigers are hoping they don't just go one and done. They're in a tight one here with the Lumberjacks down one with a minute 50 left to play. That was a huge sack for Stephen F. Austin. It's going to be a loss of 6, but they're going to pick up the first. Great throw by the Texas Southern QB. He's going to need a few more of those. And now it's the Tigers dealing with Butterfingers. That makes it third down with they've done a good job of converting on so far today, but they're going to be just shy right there. 4th and 1 now, game on the line, running the football, and they're going to pick up just enough and a whole lot more. This looks like it's going to be a Texas Southern touchdown, and the Tigers take the late lead. If they get this 2-point conversion, it'll be a 7-point game. Play fake, evading the first sack, but can't get the pass off. So a Lumberjacks touchdown on this next drive should win them the game, or maybe they'll get themselves a kick return touchdown in a lot of open space, and I don't believe it. We've seen so many of these recently, taking it to the crib. And just like that, they're back on top. And now it's their turn to go for the 2-point conversion. Play fake and wide open. But now it's going to be the Tigers with the opportunity to go downfield and put together a touchdown winning drive right here. Maybe they can get a kick return of their own. Not quite there, but they are able to start this drive at the 41-yard line. That play only got them 2 yards. They're looking for a lot more here. But these drops are just killing them, making it 3rd and 8. Clean pocket for the quarterback. He's got a man downfield, but the DB really did make a great play on the ball this time. At least it wasn't just an outright drop. Now it's going to be 4th down, looking for the conversion. Game on the line, and it's dropped again. But again, the DB made a great play. And so the Tigers will indeed be going one and done, leaving Stephen F. Austin as the lone team in Texas. With that result, we are now down to 25 teams left remaining, and we're going from seeing one Lumberjack team to another. And it's going to be a Big Sky battle too, as NAU's looking to take all of the Bengals' land. This will be the first time we get to see Idaho State Stadium, and it may not be the Kibbe Dome, but it's not too shabby. They've done a good job defending their home territory today, and I'm still in shock that they were even able to beat Montana. And as long as nothing crazy happens, their winning should continue. The Lumberjacks quarterback is running right into a sack, and it feels like the Lumberjacks have basically just given up on this one. Here's a wide receiver screen for 3 yards, and this 4th down play is their last gasp, looking for the conversion, and they got it. it, and a whole lot more. Down the left sideline, the safety angling to make the tackle. So Northern Arizona does keep their hopes alive here. That's going to be a touchdown, but if they can't recover this onside kick, it's going to be all for naught. The Bengals continue their dominance of the Big Sky Conference, and there's only 2 other teams out west for them to conquer. It's been a minute since we've heard from any of these Louisiana teams, but Grambling State is going to be headed out east to take on the Delta Devils. The winner of this conference game is going to double their land and be one of the final 23 teams left standing. And the Tigers will be the ones getting that honor here with a 17-point victory over Mississippi Valley State, 45-28. And don't be fooled by that final score. The Delta Devils got some garbage time touchdowns to make it look almost respectable. More and more of these teams are really starting to come into their own, and I don't even need to spin the arrow for Sacramento State. We know who they're playing. They are landlocked by Idaho State, and can they be the team to take them down? Idaho State had a 7-0 lead throughout most of this game, and it only just recently opened up. And that's because one of those scores was a pick 6, and then they just got a sack. Their defense has been suffocating all day long, and it's been a big reason why they've won so many of these games recently, as they're going to get their 5th sack of the game. The Hornets don't have a ton of time in the pocket, and now it's going to be 4th down and 25. That is going to be well short, and barring a miracle, Idaho State has yet another victory. Sacramento State held them to just 2 yards there, going back on the ground now, following his blockers, and if they pick up a 1st down, this game's over. Can the Hornets defense stand strong? No, they cannot, and the Bengals are going to continue their dominance. I never expected them to be this kind of a force out west, but the Bengals are now one of the few teams remaining out in that area. It's been a while now since we've last seen the Fightin' Blue Hens, and with that arrow sending them south, the closest team there is Howard. Delaware has already taken down a couple Ivy League programs, so will Howard be the one to step up to them, or will they be the next to fall? Well, with under 2 minutes left, they have an opportunity to go downfield and tie this game up. Pass deep is dropped, and that has not been an unfamiliar sight throughout this video. Faced with a 3rd and 7 now, their quarterback is looking for the conversion. Fires that to the right, caught but out of bounds. If the Fightin' Blue Hens can hold here, it would almost secure a victory. This one is going to be a 1st down though, and that's going to keep Howard's chances alive. Quick throw is going to be caught, breaks out of a tackle and picks up another 1st, and all of a sudden the Bison are driving. Under a minute left to go now, he goes to the flats, and that is not one you want to catch. That's going to be a 6-yard loss, but I mean, at least to stop the clock, I guess. Drops like that will also stop the clock. So now it's going to be 3rd down and long. Delaware sends a little bit of heat. The blitz gets picked up, and the receiver gets past the defense, high stepping into the end zone. Touchdown Howard with 46 seconds remaining. A 57-yard strike from McDowell. This extra point would tie things up, and we could be headed to our first overtime game in a while. Delaware definitely has a chance to take this kick back, though. We've already seen several kick return touchdowns, and this is just getting out of hand. The Fightin' Blue Hens, it's their turn to high step into the end zone, but hold on, there's a flag on the play. It's going to be brought on back. So instead of retaking the lead there, they start this drive on their own 34. That's going to pick up a quick 1st down, and Delaware wants to win this in regulation. They might be having some second thoughts after that big hit, though. This pass is only going to pick up 1 or 2, but they are stubborn, still trying to win this one in regulation. Pass downfield is going to be incomplete. Great play there by McNair. So that's going to force Delaware to punt this one away with about 15 seconds left to go. The punt is going to be muffed though, and the Fightin' Blue Hens jump on top of it. Special teams has played a huge role in this video, whether it's muffed returns or big ones. And that's going to get Delaware inside the 20. Just 7 seconds left, and they're still trying to get a little bit closer, spinning out of 1 tackle. You got to be conscious of the clock though. They called the timeout with 2 seconds left, so now this is to win the game. It is up and good. Delaware continues their dominance, and they're going to take down yet another Ivy League school. The Fightin' Blue Hens have got to be the Ivy League's #1 hater, and now we're going to be going back to Wolford down south. The arrow directs them northwest, meaning they're taking on William and Mary. And remember, the Tribe have one of the highest rated teams in the FCS, and they're going to need that high overall to go to work now, as they're currently down 2. 3rd and 6 now on their own 21-yard line. The quarterback drops back to throw. He's got a man wide open, and all they need is field goal range to take down the Terriers. Another quick throw to a wide open man. He's breaking loose down the sideline, and they're getting closer and closer to field goal range now. Stand strong in the pocket. Another 1st down, putting them on the outskirts of field goal range now as they send a man in motion. Their quarterback, with 30 seconds left to play, fires a strike, but Christensen denies him. I doubt their kicker can hit from here at the 32-yard line, and it's another incomplete pass. Christensen's been all over him today, and that forces 3rd down here. Wolford looking for a big defensive stop, unable to get to the quarterback, but it's another another incomplete pass because Christensen has just been dominating these last 3 plays. Look at this one that he made yet again as it cuts right as soon as the contact is made, but a great play by the DB. And they're going to be attempting a long field goal here for an FCS kicker, and it comes nowhere near. That's no diss to FCS kickers in real life, it's just they're all 40 overall in this game. And because of that, it's going to cost William and Mary all their land, giving Wolford one of the biggest territories down south with just 20 teams remaining. I think now would also be a good time to say, if you're enjoying this video, leaving a like and subscribing or following is always very much appreciated, as this is going to be the longest video I think I've ever uploaded. And with only 20 teams left remaining, it's surprising how many still have yet to play, like you and I. And now the Panthers are going to have to defend their home field. Well, Kurt Warner's alma mater has really come to play today, as they have just taken it to Western Illinois. It's a 23-point game with under 2 minutes left to go now, and the Leathernecks are going backwards. They've been pretty good throughout this Imperialism too, but Northern Iowa was just waiting the play. They finally got their chance, and they've took it to them. That garbage time touchdown is going to make things look a little bit more respectable as they go for the 2-point try now, and they also get that. But it's still a 15-point game with only about a minute left, and they don't get the onside kick. So with that, the Leathernecks are finally going to fall. But honestly, I wouldn't be too ashamed of that. They had a good run. They were the final team in their state left standing. And now New Hampshire's looking to continue their winning. The Wildcats are going on the offensive against the last Ivy League team standing. Will the Brown Bears represent the Ivy League well as the last team from the conference? Well, their defense certainly did not, giving up 55 points. Their offense was not the problem today until now, where they're getting sacked. Scoring 37 points is not bad, but your defense giving up 55 is terrible, and that is just very difficult to keep up with. Honestly, no matter what happens on this drive, it's not going to affect the final result of this game. They ended up not even being able to do anything on that drive anyway, and thus the final Ivy League team falls. That was not a bad run for Brown though. Making it inside of the top 20 is nothing to be ashamed of. Speaking of Bears, we're now going to be headed to Missouri State, and they are going to be the latest challenger of Northern Iowa. The Panthers have already had one dominant victory today, while Missouri State has already taken down Northern Colorado. And to my surprise, it also looks like they're going to be able to take down the Panthers. They're currently up by 12 on UNI, and they've got them to a 3rd down and long. This pass changes that though. Well, it only really changes the 3rd down. It does not change the fact that the Panthers are down by 12 right now. They are going to get a big play out of this. This is going to change the score, but they're going to have to score one more time if they want to come back. Step 1 of that plan is recovering an onside kick, something no team has been able to do throughout this entire Imperialism. Luckily, Northern Iowa does have all their timeouts, so if they can get a stop, it's going to change things, but that is not going to help them at all. Game-winning touchdown by Missouri State. The nail in the coffin's going to help them advance. And just as quickly as the Panthers won this land, they're going to lose it. I'm surprised Northern Iowa didn't make a deeper run, honestly. They're also one of the higher-rated teams in this game. And for the first time today, we're headed to the state of Utah. Weber State is looking to take everything that Missouri State just won, and whoever is victorious here is going to have the second most land on the map. Well, with under 2 minutes left to play, the Wildcats find themselves up by 1, and that's a terrible drop to be having on 3rd and 8. Missouri State's offense is staying on the field for 4th down, looking for the conversion, evades pressure, throws this one off his back foot. It's gonna be caught. What a touchdown here by the Bears. There are no flags on the play. Take a second look at this quarterback here. He had pressure, rolled to his right, just launched it downfield. I don't know what the DB was doing there. And with this 2-point try, they could make it a 7-point game. They're gonna run the football, and he's short, which means a Weber State touchdown would give them the lead. And of course, we've got to watch this kickoff. We've seen plenty of big plays happen on them so far today, and we're getting yet another one here. No one even came close to touching that return man. No flags on the play. Weber State takes the lead. Going for 2 to make it a 3-point game. Now their quarterback has got time, steps up into the pocket. I thought he was just going to take it himself. Instead, it's just a 1-point game once again in favor of Weber State. Kicking off now as the Bears look to get a big kick return of their own, but that's not going to happen if that guy's back there returning the kicks. Now the offense is out on the field, and they have to put together another good drive. After a holding penalty, it's going to be 2nd down and 15. This is going to pick up some of that lost yardage, and they're going to burn their second timeout after that play. Pressured, but still gets the pass off, and he's lucky that one wasn't intercepted. It's all going to come down to this. 4th and 7, pressured and dropped. Weber State comes up with a big defensive play, and that's going to result in them collecting collecting this massive piece of territory, which just keeps changing hands now. But are they going to be doomed to be the next team that loses that land now? They're going to be safe for this turn as Nicholls State is up for the first time in a while. They're going to be on the attack to Grambling State. We've already seen both of these teams come up with some victories, and I was not expecting the Colonials to be the ones having the lead late in the fourth. The Tigers couldn't even get on the board until garbage time while Nicholls State just dominated. And because of that, Grambling State has been eliminated. And they did not survive to be one of the top 15 teams left remaining. And of these 15 teams left remaining, 3 have still not played. That's going to remain true as Florida A&M is up again, and unless they got a very specific spin, there was no way they were not playing Woolford. The Terriers have the smallest bit of advantage based on overall, and that slight bit of advantage has helped them stay in this game as they only trail by 2. Looking for the third down conversion, and they've got it! And that should already put the Terriers into field goal range. The Rattlers have had the lead for this entire game, but it looks like Woolford's going to change that soon. All they need is a field goal to take their first lead of the game, but a touchdown will work too. Florida A&M will have an opportunity to respond though. 2-point conversion is good. That's going to give the Terriers a 6-point lead now, and we've seen plenty of big kick returns today. I don't think this guy's going to be doing it though. I think some of these kickoffs are just so short that they end up going to a tight end or something like that, as the Rattlers are getting a big play, one play drive to recapture the lead. Who needs a kick return touchdown when you can strike like that? That may have been too fast though, as there is still 33 seconds left on the clock, and Woolford is looking to get a big return. The ball's on the ground though, still on the ground. A&M recovers, and since Woolford only has 1 timeout left, the Rattlers are gonna win. And after a great and very respectable run, the Terriers are out of here. The field has been narrowed down quite a bit now, and it looks like we're gonna see Weber State again. For some reason, the wheel is just allergic to South Dakota because both of those teams still have yet to play. Meanwhile, Weber State is going to be challenging the Bengals, and there is no doubt that the winner of this game will have by far the most land in the U.S. Idaho State is the more proven team right now though, and they've played like it so far today. At one point leading 28-0, Weber State trying to come back. They've scored 14 unanswered, but they need to score 14 more. They're looking for that right here, and they got it! A spectacular catch here by the wide receiver. I don't know why the DB didn't play the ball, and it's now just a 1-possession game. Weber State only has 2 timeouts, though they need this onside kick, and that's going to be yet another failed attempt. The Bengals are going to be able to just run out the rest of this clock here, especially with some shifty moves, and it looks like they're going to add on to this lead. That is definitely going to be the nail in the coffin. That's going to make ISU the final Big Sky team left standing, and as if they didn't already have a big enough target on their back, now they have contact with so many more schools. Finally, we have a South Dakota team selected, but they're not even going to play, just claiming Nebraska. That leaves just 5 unclaimed states, and you know what? South Dakota is ready for more. With all that contact they have with the Bengals, they might try to take them on, or they're just going to be boring and take Minnesota. That just means the Coyotes are going to have even more contact with Idaho State now, and the Penguins have an opportunity to take Michigan if they want. They aren't going to do that though, instead heading out east, taking on New Hampshire. On paper, the Wildcats are a little better, and they also have the home field advantage. That has led to the Wildcats having a 7-point lead with just about a minute left on the clock, and they can seal their victory by picking up a first down on this drive. The Penguins are all out of timeouts. They have to get a stop here on 3rd and 5. No pressure, and that's just enough. New Hampshire is feeling good about this one, and we are now at the point where their territory is touching Idaho State's. There are now only 12 teams left that have the opportunity to come out on top of this one, and that's barely going to choose North Dakota. We've only seen them once today, but it was a huge upset, and with that arrow spin, we're going to get South Dakota State for the first time. And since these are both teams that I had to create, their overalls do look a little bit high, but trust me, they are not as good as they look. The weather is perfect in Brookings today, but the Jackrabbits are far from it, especially on 4th down. Somehow the Fightin' Hawks have had their way with both them and the Bison in this video. And after that turnover on downs, it's going to be tough for South Dakota State to come back. They're already down 1 timeout, and they keep giving up first downs. Their defense is going to need to force a fumble or something here instead of getting gashed. And even then, they would still need to score twice. So yeah, this one is pretty much over. over, especially if they get close here. That stop makes it slightly interesting, but this first down is going to make it official. And the Fighting Hawks have managed to take down both powerhouse teams in the Dakotas. At first, it might have been a sigh of relief to see those teams lose, but maybe North Dakota is the team really to be worried about. Delaware is not going to have to worry about them for a while though, as instead they set their sights on New Hampshire. Only one of these CAA schools will advance to be in the Final 10, and obviously both schools desperately want that spot. Currently Rhode Island's down 7, and that sack is going to make it 2nd down and 16. Looking to put together a game-tying drive. That's a big first. Onto the Fighting Blue Hens side of the field, taking a shot downfield, and he overthrew his man. Sending a man in motion on this next play now. Quarterback is going to take the snap, quick throw over the middle, and that's where the Wildcats use their first timeout. Looking for the conversion, instead he's sacked. That was a massive loss, and if they can't convert here, it's gonna be over. Pressure in his face, gets it off, it's gonna be caught and converted. A 27-yard strike to keep their hopes alive. Looking to throw yet again, well protected, pulls out the stiff arm, but he could not get away from the second man. Under 30 seconds left to go, a clean pocket yet again, and they're calling this an 8-yard gain, but after looking at the replay, he was definitely out of bounds. 22 seconds to go, 19 yards now. They need the end zone, but instead they're gonna face 4th down yet again. This is gonna be 4th and 16. Play action of all things here, rolling and incomplete. The Fighting Blue Hens continue their great play as they lay claim to the entire Northeast. With just 10 teams left remaining, here is what the United States looks like. And still, there are somehow 2 teams that have yet to do anything on the field yet. And as soon as I say that, we draw the Coyotes, who are apparently just allergic to playing. Instead of taking on North Dakota or Idaho State, they're just claiming Wisconsin. Well, I guess that someone's got to do it. I know Samford can't get out of playing, and that is the only team that is yet to do anything. Are they a sleeping giant? I guess we'll have to find out as they take on Florida A&M. Looking at their overall, it's actually slightly better than the Rattlers, but Florida A&M does have the home field advantage, and I think that helped them in the pouring rain here as they are up 45-21. So apologies to all my Bulldog fans out there who waited throughout almost the entire video just to watch their team get demolished, and I think this might be a pick 6 just to rub it in. Yes, it will be. The Rattlers putting up a 50-burger out here, and that's just a sad way for Samford to go out. But that's just what you're gonna get sometimes with some of these teams just coasting their way into the top 10. South Dakota was getting nervous there. They almost thought they had to do something. Instead, the Colonials are gonna be going up north and taking on the big bad Bengals. Despite how good Idaho State has been today, it's Nicholls State with the overall advantage. But for some reason, overall has hardly mattered for the Bengals here, as they currently have a 2-possession lead. Nicholls State looking to change that. Currently, they are down by 11 with about 1:40 left to go, but that touchdown might change things. A 2-point try would make this a field goal game. Running the option, he's gonna pitch it out. Does he have the angle? I think he did, but he stepped out of bounds. That could end up being a costly mistake. Can they get this onside kick? Nope. That still has a 0% success rate. And now the Colonials defense has to get a stop. Here's a run to the right side. It's close. The Bengals running back has just been so good throughout this Imperialism, and here's the fullback picking up the first. With only 1 timeout left, I don't think Nicholls State is going to be getting this ball back, especially with how good Idaho State's running back is. At this point, they have to force some kind of a turnover, not be giving up first downs and scores. Yep, that's it. I can hear the fat lady singing. And if the Bengals win it all, you might have to give their running back the MVP. There is still one team we have yet to see take the field, and I don't think we're going to see them here. And with Wyoming in the way, I don't think the Bengals can attack them either. Instead, they're just going to pull a South Dakota move and just claim New Mexico. And there's still Wyoming and Michigan yet to be claimed. Hampton is not in a position to take either of those states though, but they are in a position to challenge Delaware. The game is giving the slight advantage to the Pirates, but Delaware hasn't had home field advantage for a long time. It might not mean a lot though, as with under 2 minutes left, the Blue Hens are trailing. And now they're faced with a 4th down, looking for the conversion. It's going to be a play fake and a drop. That's the worst place you can drop the ball. And now it all rests on Delaware's defense to get a stop. 5 yards on 1st down. Hampton looking to run the football again, and it's going to be 3rd and inches. The Blue Hens are down to 1 timeout. They need a stop here. They're not going to get it. But hold the phone. There's a flag down, and you guessed it, it's holding. What a time for the refs to come in clutch. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 now. The Pirates are looking to throw for it, but that sack gives Delaware a chance. 51 seconds here on the clock as Hampton Hampton punts this one away, and it does not go very far. Looking for a little bit of trickery on the return, and that gets him out to the 46. This drive has to end with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie this game up, and that got them almost half the yards that they needed. 24 yards away from the end zone now, clean pocket and a drop. Half a minute remains for the Pirates defense to stand strong. They're getting no pressure right now, but that only picked up 3 yards, and the clock is running 14 seconds as he takes the snap. He's got time, steps up into the throw, flag on the play for holding. Looks like the refs are playing both sides today. So now it's 3rd and 17 with 10 seconds left to go. Quarterback has got time, fires a strike, caught, and out of bounds at the 5. They might have time for 2 plays right here if they manage the clock correctly, but they won't need 2 plays. That's a touchdown. Everything rests on this 2-point conversion now. Clean pocket and caught. Somehow through all that contact, the receiver held on. 3 seconds left on the clock. Delaware cannot give up a kick return touchdown, and we have seen a lot of those today. Return man gets a little bit of space. He loses the football, and it's recovered. It's not going to matter because we're headed to overtime. Hampton's going to start with the football, coming out 5 wide and aggressive. That first play is going to pick up 8. Now they're going to run the football and get the first. Out to the 13-yard line now. Play fake, the quarterback rolling to his left. He's going to stop and fire to the end zone, and the Pirates score first in overtime. The Fightin' Blue Hens are looking to respond after forcing this extra period, but getting rocked is not going to help them. That's going to set up 3rd and 10, and they're looking to throw for it, but the Pirates defense had other plans. And with one more stop, they will advance to the top 7. Quarterback under pressure loses the football. It's on the ground and recovered by Hampton. That's gonna be all she wrote in this one. The Pirates survive the scare in OT, and they will be the team to take down the mighty Blue Hens. They are now one of 7 teams left remaining that can win this whole thing. Are we getting South Dakota? Yes, we are. And believe it or not, they could take either of the 2 unclaimed states. They're not gonna do that here though, as that arrow put them up to the Fightin' Hawks. Again, the overalls are just a little bit weird with these teams being custom made, so don't put too much stock into them. With just about 2 minutes to go, the Coyotes find themselves only down by 6. And that quarterback run picks up 2 for them. Pass to the outside is going to be caught and get them into North Dakota territory. 40 yards away from taking the lead now with 1.5 minutes left to go. That's going to be dropped. But you can't get too mad at them. The corner did make a play. The Coyotes are faced with 3rd down now. Strike over the middle is going to be caught, and they're inside of the red zone now. Sending a receiver in motion is going to be a handoff, and the run picks up a few. They use their first timeout before facing 3rd and 7. Firing back across his body. That picks up a 1st down and gives them goal to go. But now the Fighting Hawks defense comes up big. 30 seconds left. Pass to the outside's caught for a couple, but now it's going to be 3rd and goal with a running clock. The quarterback looking for the game winner, and he's got it. Somehow he became wide open in the back of the end zone, and I guess they just didn't have anybody on him. This extra point for the lead is good, and that was a perfect drive, giving North Dakota only 10 seconds to respond, although they can get a kick return in that amount of time. Their returner looks kind of slow, but he's going to break into open space, and I can't believe it. Is this going to be another kick return touchdown for the win? 79 yards from Jones. I think it is. Honestly, it kind of stinks to see all that hard work that the Coyotes had just kind of go to waste. But hey, maybe if they get a kick return touchdown in this final second, they could flip the script. Faking the reverse now, and it's going nowhere. So the Fighting Hawks are going to be the last team in the Dakotas standing. It took getting down to just 6 teams left, but we have seen everyone play at least once. Florida A&M is looking to crack their way into the top 5, but for the Rattlers to do that, they have to take down Hampton. And we're at that point where the winner will have the entirety of the East Coast. The Pirates have an opportunity to claim all of that land if they can put together a game-winning drive right here. Stepping up into a sack, that's going to lose them 6 yards. They hurry up to the line now, looking to get a quick pass off, cutting this one upfield, fighting for every yard, and that's going to set up 3rd and 1 where they're looking to throw for it, and it's going to be intercepted by Florida A&M. The Rattlers looking for a big return. They don't get the pick 6, but that is a huge play. All they need now is a couple of 1st downs, and they'll be moving on to the final 5. The ball's on the ground, though. Hampton has a chance to recover, and they do. Turnovers going back and forth. They are right back in it. They only have 47 seconds seconds to get into the end zone though. Play fake, throw it to an open man in the flat. The fullback falls forward for 5. That's going to get them out to midfield now. The quarterback has got time in the pocket and fires a strike downfield. That's going to get him out to the 29-yard line now. Quick throw to a wide open receiver. And once again, we're seeing some bad drops. 31 seconds left on the clock. Quarterback evading a little bit of pressure, moving, throwing back across his body. First down yardage and more. Down to the 15-yard line. Under center, he's going to take the snap, fake the give, roll out to his right, fire a strike for 5, and now they're down inside of the 10, looking to go to the end zone now, but Moore couldn't hang on through the contact. That's going to bring up 3rd and 4. Their quarterback looking for the conversion, and a whole lot more than that. Hampton's going to take the late lead, trying to make it a 3-point game now with the 2-point try, but that wasn't going anywhere. Hampton kicking this one off with 10 seconds left. Florida A&M muffs it, so they're not getting any return there. From their own 26, the Rattlers have 10 seconds to get into field goal range. Looking for a big play here, and they got it, but with just 4 seconds left on the clock, it's going to be tough to get into field goal range. They're looking for the Hail Mary. Instead, he's going to check it down, and that's going to be all she wrote, and that's how the Rattlers fall. Honestly, it was not a bad run for Florida A&M, and they probably surprised a lot of folks by making it to the top 5. Let's be honest though, did anyone predict these 5 teams to be the last ones standing? I know that I certainly didn't, and now we're going to see the Fighting Hawks square off against the Bengals. Again, don't be confused by North Dakota's overall, and honestly, overall hasn't had much of an effect on the Bengals anyway. At this point, I feel like Idaho State's the favorite to win it all, because it truly feels like it's been a while since they've been challenged in any of these games, although the Fighting Hawks have a chance to tie it up. The defender made a good play on the ball there, and now it's going to be 3rd and 10, incomplete pass. The Bengals defense is standing strong, and this is a massive 4th down. Looking for the conversion, but he's going to get dropped. He did not see the free rusher coming in. Cornerback blitz at a great time. The Bengals just have to run out the rest of this clock. Now they're going to give it to the running back, and that's going to be a 1st down. North Dakota only has 1 timeout left, and the Bengals are already in field goal range, so this one is pretty much over. Idaho State would have to fumble the ball away or something, and that was a good play by the defense there, but the clock continues to run. That was a solid play too, but it's the last thing they're going to be celebrating, because Idaho State is in the Final Four, and they have represented the Big Sky Conference well, taking down that final Dakota team. Only 4 teams are left now, and it looks like we're going to be getting Stephen F. Austin. They could take on either Idaho State or Southern, but with them sharing this much of a border with the Bengals, it was always going to be them. Are you guys tired of seeing the ICCU Dome yet? Because we just keep visiting the Bengals. It's been for good reason though. They just keep winning, but they can't get the stop on 3rd down. The Lumberjacks are looking to put together a game-winning drive here for the upset. That's going to be ruled a fumble though. Luckily for Stephen F. Austin, they recover. Out to the 40-yard line now after that nearly costly blunder. It's going to be caught at the other 40. Under a minute left to go, knocking on the door of field goal range. That's going to be caught and ruled a fumble. Idaho State jumps on top of it. I don't know, it didn't really look like a catch to me, but no one's reviewing it, which means the Bengals now have a chance to go downfield and have a game-winning drive. They're going to get sacked on the play plus a flag. That's going to set them back to the 22-yard line now, evading the sack there and gets the pass completed, and I have no idea how he was able to do that. 3rd down. They're looking for the conversion and short. Oh, actually, that was 2nd down. This is 3rd down now, looking for the conversion, and this time he overthrew him. So with 17 seconds left, the Bengals are giving the Lumberjacks the football back. Looking for the return, breaks off of the first contact, and they could take a couple shots downfield here in the final remaining seconds. Caught in field goal range, but even better, that's a Stephen F. Austin touchdown with only 1 second left on the clock. What an unbelievable catch and throw here. 5 catches for 101 yards for Shaw and a potential game-winning score. We all remember how the Bengals took down Montana, though, on a last-second kick return touchdown. Can they do the same thing here? Inside of the 20, a pretty deep kickoff for one of these guys, taken down, and that is going to end the Idaho State Bengals. It was truly a remarkable run for ISU, but it ends a little bit sooner than they wanted it to. And after that result, I'm not sure who's going to be the favorite to win this whole thing. Southern has kind of just snuck under the radar for the second half of this video, but they are not about to coast their way to a championship appearance. They have to take down the Lumberjacks if they want it. And based off of these overalls, the Lions are at a disadvantage. This means that Hampton has an automatic bid to the championship. Southeastern managed to fly under the radar throughout a majority of this one, but they have finally been exposed, and it also looks like some of the DBs on Stephen F. Austin are getting exposed. Not that it's really going to matter a ton because they are already going to be headed to the championship. And hopefully we don't get a game like that in the final matchup. And I think I'm going to change things up this time around, setting the game at a neutral site. Stephen F. Austin will be the quote-unquote attacking team, aka the away team, but we're going to be playing it in the SEC championship. I can't put it in the actual championship, but this will do. So it's all going to come down to this. Who will be the champion of the first ever FCS Imperialism? We've got Pirates versus Lumberjacks here in the championship game. Stephen F. Austin currently is going to be down, but this is going to be a big run by the tailback. That's going to get them onto Hampton's side of the field, continue to feed them, and there he got 6 more. Under 4 minutes left to play, and they give it to the tailback again, putting together a methodical drive to go downfield here and take the lead. First pass of the drive is incomplete. He had a man wide open there. That's all right, there's always second down. Dropping back to throw again, this time going to the right side, and he missed his man yet again. Are the big game jitters getting to him? It's third down now, and they need this conversion if they want to score on this drive, and it's going to be intercepted. Hampton linebacker coming away with the pick, and this play right here may have just won the Pirates the championship. There's still 3.5 minutes left though, so there's plenty of time for the defense to get a stop. That play went nowhere though, and so is this run. Now it's the Pirates who face a 3rd and 10. Looking for this big conversion, firing a strike to a wide open man there, running past the defense. This will give them a 2-possession lead. Huge play here for Hampton, finding a man wide open, and then he just turned on the Jets. That's going to make it a 12-point game, so the Lumberjacks are going to have to score quickly. A kick return touchdown could do the trick, but they're not going to get it here. In fact, they went backwards thanks to that penalty, so they have a lot of work to do in front of them. Hurrying up to the line now for 1st down and 10. Play fake now with about 2 minutes left to go, firing this one downfield. Got a man open at the 30, and they're going to keep going with this up-tempo offense here. Got his man open yet again, and that's going to set up goal to go. Minute 50 left, clean pocket, and a touchdown. The Lumberjacks are not going down without a fight. It's helpful that they still have all of their timeouts, especially with that onside kick. It's all up to Stephen F. Austin's defense now to get a stop, and there they burn their first timeout. Fullback dive now for Hampton, but it did not go very far for Hampton, leading to the biggest 3rd down of the game. All day in the pocket to throw, wide open downfield, and that may have just won the Pirates the game. Goal to go now, a touchdown really would seal it, and the Lumberjacks only have 1 timeout left to stop the clock with. This handoff, following his blockers, breaks out of a tackle and breaks the plane. Pirates fans, celebrate. Your team is about to be a champion. Stephen F. Austin had a really good run throughout this entire tournament. I'm surprised this game was not between Idaho State and Delaware. And hold on, the Lumberjacks are not done yet. They're at least going to make it look not so bad. Now would be a spectacular time to have our first onside kick recovery. It's not happening. The Lumberjacks need a miracle now, and I don't think it's going to happen. The Pirates would have to pull a Miami at this point to lose. And based on their play calling, I don't really see that happening, although they do run the ball here. But alas, no fumble. So with that, the Hampton Pirates are the first ever champions of FCS Imperialism. If you guys enjoyed this, leaving a like and subscribing is very much appreciated. A lot of hours went into setting up the map, recording, and editing this to get this out to you guys. And here it is, one last look at the map with Hampton as the victors. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like my Madden 09 Imperialism, or the one that I did with 1990 NFL rosters.